The rules for this run are simple. The only direct damage that either player can deal is from firebombs, and I will at least be attempting every boss in the game that is possible. With that in mind and the character created, let's get to it. I blew to the character creation screen starting with black firebombs and bandit. Bandit for the high vitality and firebombs because... firebombs. Black firebombs are laughably strong this early in the game, and so I get to have a little bit of extra fun with the demon here. We continue on through the asylum, grabbing the Estes from Oscar, and take the totally not a Corviknight taxi to Lordran proper. After taking stock around Firelink, I make a rush for the Undead Merchant, who's going to be our best friend this run. Huh, now that I think about it, I'm probably going to be spending a lot of time here, aren't I? Anyway. Oh god, not the face! And it's at this point, maybe 5 feet from his boss fog, I realize I don't think I have enough damage with 4 black firebombs, and never bought more from the Undead Merchant. Lucky for me, Gravity's my best friend, and I implore her help. It was definitely a struggle, and it took some jockeying to get him into position, but after a few seconds and a longer fight than it should have been, Taurus Demon goes down. With Taurus defeated, that allows us access to the shortcut back to the Undead Merchant and the all-important Dragon Bridge farm. A quick lesson for those unaware, the Dragon Bridge farm gives the player 555 souls every time the dragon torches the bridge after resetting the area's enemies. This is done with literally no extra effort from the player other than aggroing the dragon and running away so they don't get singed. With this unlocked, I can now waste several hours here whenever we run out of ammo and get a nice full restock. Honestly, regular firebombs are on sale for the cheap. At 50 souls per, you can essentially kill anything with them and pretty much break at least even. Never mind the 555 you get from the Dragon Bridge farm, so regular firebombs are going to be a nice source of consistent damage from this run. Now that my ammunition's all but secure for the rest of the game, I decided I should probably try to cop the easy Bell of Awakening while I can. Running past the hordes of undead hollows and the channeler, I pray that I make it up with enough HP and healing to fight the gargoyles and start the fight. Starting off this fight, the rust I have with the original Dark Souls is really coming to show now. All my movements are clunky, I'm being hit with attacks that really have no business connecting, and missing bombs that really should have been really free and easy damage. The fight's a complete scrappy mess. Lucky for me, firebombs at this point are still hilariously broken, and I even burned my last 2 black firebombs just to seal the deal. And if anyone's really struggling with early game bosses, besides one, I can't recommend trying firebombs enough. The damage is insane and the ease of use is there. Back to the fight at hand though, through some combination of sheer dumb luck and whatever I have left that passes for skill in these games, I'm actually able to clutch out a win. It was really close and does not bode well for the future if I can't shake the rust off though. Either way, Gargoyle's down, first bell rung, and Creeper engaged. I return to the Undead Merchant, using the souls to get some levels and restock my Explosive Joy. Before making my way to Capper though, I do stop by Firelink to introduce Lautrec to my good friend Gravity. I don't think Gravity likes Lautrec well. Either way, a quick reload of the area and the Fabric is mine. The more eagle-eyed amongst watchers would have noticed that I didn't start Thief, and didn't actually pick the Master Key as my starting gift for obvious reasons. Without that though, we actually have to proceed through the game normally, which means walking through Undead Burg and adjoining areas the intended way. So for now, I grab the basement key, which I forgot to my first time through. With the basement key in hand, I proceed down to the Capper Demon, clearing out the Undead Burg along the way so I can try a bit of a cheese strategy. In theory, it's possible to kill Capper without ever setting foot in his arena actually, however, that requires a bow to properly aim the throws, which, like many other things this run, I've completely forgotten. For just free aiming the shots, it actually goes pretty alright. I do manage to get one of the dogs, even if I don't ever hit Capper, but one less dog before setting foot in the arena is still a massive help since it prevents me from getting caught and stunlocked early. I jump in the arena, quickly sending the second dog to its maker before playing this really weird game of taunting with Capper, kind of just jumping on the ledge and watching as he spins in circles and really doesn't understand what to do, but I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. After raining explosive on Capper for a few minutes, I take the W. Where was he going? Using the key Capper so kindly donated to our cause, I make my way to the depths, clearing out the channeler before making my way to the Gaping Dragon itself. Gaping is really nothing to write home about, though it's a really good indicator of what a lot of bosses are going to look like now that firebombs don't do wild amounts of damage relative to the health bar. It's a simple dance really. Throw a bomb, walk away, throw a bomb, walk away, rinse and repeat until your dragon's medium well. With Gaping taken care of, the mistake of not starting with the Master Key is finally mostly rectified. We can now explore Blighttown and all its inhabitants. is what I would say if I went at it from the top at all. Instead, I decided to double back through the Valley of Drakes, grab the backdoor key to New Londo and Firelink, and instead just start halfway down as if I had the master key anyways. I speedrun down through the Blighttown rafters and get to the bonfire in the swamp. And it's at this point I am forced to consider just how to deal with the first fire immune boss in Quelaag. At least to my knowledge, there's no real way to cause her to clip through the arena and die to gravity like I would like. The only idea I had on how we could defeat her without us technically doing any non-firebomb damage was to use an NPC summon, and fortunately for us, there is one in this area, Man-Eater Mildred. So I go ahead and become human at the bonfire and get invaded by her and prepare to unleash... Oh shit, that was 3 damage. 3 whole fucking damage. Well, time for a new plan. If fire doesn't kill her, how does gravity work? Yep, that works great. You know what? That was the second kill for gravity. Let's throw up a gravity kill counter here. I want to see how many she gets to by the end of the run. Now with Mildred summonable for the Quelaag fight, we go in. Mildred, for being practically naked, deals way too much damage and has way too much health. And although the bombs don't actually hurt Queen Spider Bitch, they do get her aggro for some reason. So utilizing this, we can throw bombs whenever Quelaag switches her focus over to Mildred and bring it back to us. After a tense few minutes of Mildred attempting to take a lava bath and me screaming my head off at her to stop. Mildred, what are you... Like, literally, what are you getting hit by? Mildred, please. You're doing so well. Quelaag goes down, and that's our second bell rung, and Sen's Funhouse is open now, finally. Before zipping over to Sen's, I do grab a few bonfires ahead and try to see if there's anything I can do off the top of my head off the way to kill the Splooge Lord. Nothing really works, so I grab his sister's clothes and move on. No. I dash over to the newly opened fortress and ascend to the top at record speeds. Why, you ask? Because this is the one and only damage upgrade we get this run, the Black Firebomb. The Black Firebomb boasts almost double the damage and a significant increase in poise damage, making it almost perfect, if not for the price being 10 times that of normal firebombs out of 500 per single bomb. Alas, a second and better ammo type is something I will gladly pay for at this point in the run. I kill the bomb-throwing giant above the fog gate with extreme prejudice. Ugh. That was a cheap shot. I'm sorry about that. Moving on. Armed to the gills with enough explosives that would make Fidel Castro himself blush, I challenge the Iron Golem. It goes horribly wrong almost immediately. Unsurprisingly, he's unbearably tanky. This, at the very least, makes it unreasonable to just throw bombs at him till he falls over. And speaking of falling over, I can't even get him to do that right. Whenever I get him almost there, he immediately punishes that attempt by dunking me like Shaq would. What? It was behind you, sir. Go fuck yourself. Okay, he's gonna throw him. He shouldn't throw me. Either way, I get it eventually and move on to the big challenge ONS. Hey there, everybody. It's been a few hours since I've last seen you guys. In those few hours that I've been gone, I've maxed out both our held and stored reserves of firebombs and black firebombs, and spent way too long grinding levels for health so that ONS don't completely body me. It's not going to change much, but every little bit helps. ONS is usually where any run, challenge or otherwise, dies. Biggie and Smalls put a stop to anyone's attempts at clearing the game. My first attempt on them on this run ends really badly. Like, really, really badly. I do chip down some health bars, but my rhythm isn't there, so I really don't get to juju on that beat. Wait, I didn't just super date myself, did I? When did that song come out? No, 2016, I'm alright. The second run, though, that one was something special. Wasn't perfect, far from it, still got my ass handed to me a fair few times, but it was one of those where you're hitting the tip of the flow state. Aim was a little bit better than it had been. You can predict attacks a split second sooner, you react that minor bit faster, sometimes I'd get an extra bomb in here. It turned into a prime example of why I've been loving challenge runs as much as I do. You either get a really good display of obtuse or core mechanics of the game working in tandem with player skill to see something awesome. fucking downtown, piece of shit! Before proceeding to the end of the game, there's a few loose ends I want to tie up. First off is Pinwheel for the Rite of Kindling. It was Pinwheel, so it went as expected. Yeah, expected. God damn it, Pinwheel! Who's playing the Doom music? Why are we playing the Doom music? Why is it getting louder? You're going to wake one of the other guys up.
Heretic, I will break your back. Blood must flow and yours will do nicely. Kill. Maim. Burn. Blood for the Blood God. Skulls for the Skull Throne. A dragon will look glorious in my collection. Invisibility, a parlor trick.
Okay, we're back. We're out of this. We're good. Just pretend that didn't happen and we're moving on.
Alright, we made it to the end game. Time to put on the big boy pants, cause this is where it all goes to shit. We start with the Izalith Gauntlet, and immediately there's an issue. Ceaseless is still alive, meaning, you know, his discharge is kind of still flowing strong. Wait, does that mean that the lava is... Oh, gross. Thankfully, there's a solution. Using the stolen clothes of his sister we can get by entering his arena, which for whatever reason have stupidly high fire resistance, we can actually cross the lava in a very specific spot and with some slight abuse of gravity. Thank you, my friend. Using this spot off the wall to drop down onto a tiny part of the wall that inclines so you don't take fall damage, you can run and jump onto the fire-free land just a couple feet away. After a few attempts and dozens of deaths, we finally finish our game of the floor is lava and claim our bonfire. Only we don't get to, because apparently this bonfire just doesn't spawn if Ceaseless is still alive. Learn something new every day. Huh, weird. Well, it means we have to do the Demon Fire Sage in one take. Surprisingly, it goes off without a hitch. With the Fire Sage out of the picture, we get our bonfire and walk on to the Centipede. The Centipede Demon, while not hard, is another one of those bosses that are immune to fire. Fortunately, it's got a crippling weakness to gravity. How many kills is gravity up to in this run? 4, I think? Simply stand in this corner of the boss arena with a shield and pray for its grab attack. If you're positioned right, when it finishes the grab attack, it'll clip through the arena and fall to its death. Dead. Do I take this long? Oh, yeah, it does. Alright, it's time for the first lower sword of this run and the BS platforming boss. The rest of the gauntlet is done, and it's time to put Mommy Izalith to bed. I run on, take out both branches, getting swept up a couple times as I try to make my way to the center, but realistically make it to the center with minimal issue. I walk into the middle area, break a few branches, and I walk up to the bed of chaos, but yeah, it's fire immune. Where did that even come from? There's no one else here. You know what? Nope, don't care. Let's make you to leave. Nope, not a zip zilch. Not dealing with this. Goodbye.
Ah, shit, the bonfire.
Next up is the Bone Daddy himself. Nito, for being dead and all, really knows how to raise some bones. Not complaining, but certainly a new experience for me. I assumed this was going to be a problem due to him having, you know, infinitely reviving skeleton adds, but fear was kind of unwarranted. Because if you stay in the part of the arena that you enter from, you only actually aggro Nito and the 3 smaller skeletons. The smaller skeletons' damage is minimal at this point in the game, and Nito's attacks are easy enough to dodge. Honestly, Big Man Nito winds up doing most of the ad clearing himself. Letting him clear the ads over and over again and throwing whenever you get free openings is really easy. Just another easy win overall.
Fun. So peace and quiet.
Next, I turned my attention to the bad dragon in the room. Seath the Bitchless was a total pushover. I did die to a couple times to curses, but overall, Seath has the same weakness that every male has, so I spent a few minutes running literal circles around Seath while throwing Hail Marys at his junk and take Lord Soul 3 of 4 with minimal issue. The last of the Lord Souls to collect, the 4 Kings. This one has the most potential to go absolutely fucking sideways, and there really isn't a whole lot I can do in the way of getting good in the fight to change much. I gear up in the stone armor set for poise and equip the Abyss Walker ring and go. This fight goes far better than I ever could have dreamed. I down the first king just before the second spawns in, and attempt to do the second, having some sliver of hope that my DPS is just high enough to stop multiple kings from appearing, but my luck isn't that good, and it's about to turn into a mosh pit. I put down a second king, but by this point, 2 more have actually already spawned in. I see that I have really good damage done to the health bar though, and that the king's AI seems to be doing weird things as I'm dealing with the third king. I noticed that if I just keep myself close to one of the kings, the others don't seem too inclined to get in and do big damage hits, settling for floating around and trying to do long range attacks. So I full send it into a single king at a time. I cycle between raining fiery death at point blank range as fast as possible and healing whenever I think I need to stay alive. And surprisingly, this works on the first attempt. The 4 kings go down, and like that, we have all the Lord Souls now. We could end the game here, but we have 2 friends awaiting us in the distant past that I think need a helping hand. Proceeding into the DLC, I was really worried. These are some of the most aggressive bosses in the game with big health bars and resistances, and even if we're just facing 2, that's sometimes enough to just be a run stopper if I can't manage to get through them. The fight was really good though against the Guardian, almost perfect. But not the first time. The first time I got absolutely clobbered, but you know, Dark Souls. The second time, however, everything just went right. I understood when and where to dodge, how to counter. I could read the animations he was going to use almost perfectly. It was one of the few times I've been so completely immersed in the flow state and was just learning everything. It was truly a special fight. Most likely the best and most clean boss fight I've ever had in a Souls game. With such overwhelming ability paired against the pretty kitty, it goes down in short order, causing me to only use 5 Estus Flasks total. This is it, the last real fight of the run, Artorias the Abyss Walker. I don't want to make any jokes or say anything here, I don't have any witty comments, nothing. This is Artorias. This man gives normals a tough time. He has massive resistances, a large health pool, is hyper aggressive, and can even buff his own damage. This is a brutal fight in all respects, yet maybe that's why this was my favorite fight of the run yet. Wasn't nearly as clean as the Guardian fight, but every bit felt more valuable, every inch gained felt more real. Every bomb counted, almost literally, as by the end of it we had 18 regulars left, and the margin for error is extremely slim. To break it down, Artorias has 3,750 health. Each regular firebomb deals about 19 damage, with black firebombs dealing only about 32. In theory, hitting all regulars is 1,181 damage, with the upgraded ones being 3,168 for total potential damage of 5,049. On paper, that seems pretty great. It's a bit tight, but it's still about a 1,300 damage window for error. In practice, it's much different. First off, this is contingent on the fact of hitting Artorias with everything, all 198. Consider hitting Artorias 198 times while he's performing acrobatics and kick-flipping your face around the arena. Add that to the fact that sometimes you don't want to hit him on certain animations while buffing, for example, since it about halves your damage, and you can sometimes just miss or he decides to just not take the damage, and yeah, it's not that easy. The margin's a lot slimmer than it looks. Most of Artorias' attacks don't have a window to counter or are complete toss-ups depending on if you want to chance it. The few that I found are the following. At the end of the buffing animation, there is a time where he takes normal damage and not the reduced half damage. At the end of his very high jump and slam attack, that leaves the puddle of abyss, I guess? I don't know, and I really don't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. There's a note, this is not the flipping spinny slash slam attack. That's a completely different one that will leave you dead in a puddle if you don't dodge it. The long charge and stab attack, and finally, his very wide spinning slash, all are viable openings to land a firebomb. They'll leave ample time to throw or heal if you're desperate. Despite all of this, the lack of animations and the general tight margins, all the odds that were stacked against me, it happened. I defeated the Abyss Walker with the fight that finally netted me the victory, lasting about 40 minutes. with this, I take my low bow to the Abyss Walker for everything he's done, the challenge he's proposed, and the glorious fight that he's given me, and we walk towards Gwyn and the finality of the game. Gwyn, at least comparatively to everything I have dealt with recently, is a complete joke. Don't misunderstand, he's fast, jumpy, and hits really hard, but there isn't the same challenge to it after Artorias. The margins aren't nearly as tight. I just equip the Stone Golem armor set and parry my way to victory. With that, Gwyn, along with every other boss we could conceivably beat, has been defeated, and Dark Souls 1 has been officially completed with just Firebombs. The inspiration for this run was entirely from the backlogs, which, if you're here, you likely know who that is, and if you don't, his channel link will be down below. Runs in the future will be more flavored with thoughts and bad ideas from my own chaotic brain space, but this one, the first one, I wanted to be a special homage to the inspiration that Lemon is for me with challenge running. And if you're ever watching this, Lemon, thank you for the inspiration to test the limits of what's possible in my favorite games.